Well, happy belated Turkey Day to everyone. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. I hope everybody got full. Hope everybody ate well, and wish everybody had a good time. You know, new news in boxing. Let's get to it because this is Counterpunch Boxing News, and I'm talking about the latest. The latest is the welterweight division. Keith Thurman, Earl Spence. And a lot of people have been bashing Keith Thurman about not fighting Earl Spence. And they should. They should bash him. But it's no surprise to me. What Keith Thurman does, or what he's done in the past, has shown that he does avoid tough fights. A lot of people want to fight Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? It was times when Keith Thurman wanted to fight Floyd. He offered to fight Floyd, and Floyd denied him. He rejected that notion to fight him, saying he wasn't a good enough draw or whatever. But Keith Thurman was also the guy that stated that nobody wanted to fight me. He pretended to be Golovkin at the time because they both had the same problem around the same time. And now I look at like Golovkin, he's not he's not taking on all comers like before. Neither is Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, look how long it took for the Porter fight. The Porter fight's supposed to happen in 2015, the end of it. It's supposed to happen in the middle of 2015. That fight was prolonged a whole hell of a long time before it actually happened. And that's really unacceptable. So Keith Thurman one time has told more than one time. He shouldn't even be one time no more. He should be a lot of times, has really ducked fighters or avoided particular fights because they were difficult. Because Sean Porter, that was a tough and rugged fight. But there are reasons he didn't want to get in there with a guy like Sean Porter. There's reasons for that. I don't know if he was listening to his promoter / advisor, Al Heyman or whatever, but Keith Thurman decided to deny or saying that he won't fight Earl Spence. Well, Earl Spence shouldn't really worry about chasing down Keith Thurman because karma, it has a real way of taking a person out that thinks they're going to stay there forever. See, Keith Thurman thinks as long as he doesn't fight Earl Spence, he can beat everyone in the division. That's what he's thinking. But from knowing fights that he's taken, like the Luis Collazo fight, right? Well, Collazo hurt him bad to the body. You know what I'm saying? And that's always been Keith Thurman. Well, up until that point, that's been Keith Thurman's weak point or weak spot rather. And I know that it's going to be other Luis Collazos out there. So if Keith Thurman thinks that he can sit back like Floyd Mayweather did and just avoid tough fighters, remember Floyd Mayweather didn't avoid tough fights until he got older and later in his career. He took on a lot of people that, that people forget about. Fans forget about the people that Pretty Boy Floyd took on, besides trying to, everyone's trying to compare themselves to Mayweather, Money Mayweather, which, in his mind, he justifies not fighting guys because he's already fought them. Okay, whatever. So, but Keith one-time Thurman, man, it doesn't surprise me what he does or what he's done because he's already done it before. That's just simple. He's a guy that says, hey, I'm injured and I don't feel like I need to take a tune-up fight. Well, first of all, man, I'm old school. I don't really believe that any boxer champion should take a tune-up fight. I think how it's supposed to be is how it was. And how it was, if you are the champion, you fight the fucking #1 ranked fighter next. That should be your mandatory. Not all this little bullshit from all these sanctioning bodies, from all these belts. Should be the first #1 guy. And if you do have all these sanctioning bodies, it should at least be that number one guy. Okay? It should be the number one guy that's number one ranked. Someone that's sitting on a number one ranked position should not choose to fight when he decides to fight. He shouldn't be leaning on that shit for like 2 years or whatever. That should never be the case. And that's been the case in boxing. Hell, I could remember when David Tua was like the WBC mandatory. And he waited like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? To fight anybody. He just waited it out like, no, I'll wait and wait. You shouldn't have to wait in boxing. You know? If you're the number one ranked guy, you should be the next guy that fights the champ. And after the first guy, if the first guy can't do it, you pick number two. That's how it's supposed to be. The IBF knows that. Why does the WBO, the WBC, and the WBA, and all these other little bullshit belts, why don't they know that? Why you got to have fights like Collazo versus Keith Thurman? Not taking anything away from Collazo, because Collazo is a hell of a fighter. You know, he's diminished over the years, but he's made his mark in the sport. Okay? So there shouldn't be any reason that Keith Thurman should duck anybody. Especially, you know, everyone's talking about unification. I get it, you know, because you want an undisputed champ, you know. But I think a proper protocol should go into play when you deal with mandatories versus the rankings. The ranking should be over if that particular person, fuck the top 5. How about 1? Let's start from the top on down. You beat the first, you beat the second, you beat the third, you beat the fourth. You're good. And then after you've beat the top 5, then you can go and fight a guy that's unified in another fucking weight class. How does that sound? So you guys get with me and ask me or tell me if I'm right or wrong. Because I really want to know what's up to. But up until now, Keith Thurman's ducking. He's been ducking. He doesn't want to fight Earl Spence, the young hungry bull. He pretended to be the same particular person. It proved that he wasn't, because Keith Thurman is still young. Okay? So you guys get with me and you guys tell me what you think about this particular situation, because it's all the same shit to me. But I would like to know your input. You know what I mean? But anyway, you guys been Counterpunch. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. Peace.